Okay, so you're launching a website, right? Your passion project. But then you realize even websites have a footprint, like an environmental one.
Yeah, it's something a lot of people don't consider.
Right. It's kind of a downer. But the good news is there are ways to make yours eco-friendly. We're actually diving into a blog post today from Now Technology Systems,
They're an Australian web design company.
and they're all about sustainable web design.
Yeah, they're really advocating for change with this post. It's called Creating Eco-Friendly Websites with Sustainable Web Design Techniques, and it's more important than you might think.
Yeah, I was going to say, so it's not just a trendy thing.
Oh,
This is like actually making a difference.
It's a big deal. You know, the internet accounts for 4% of global carbon emissions.
4%.
Yeah, which is like the entire airline industry.
Wow. Okay, so that puts it into perspective. So sustainable web design, what does that even mean, like practically speaking?
So basically, it's about building websites in a way that minimizes their environmental impact. So, like, think about it. Every time someone visits your website, their computer needs energy to download and display all the content, right? Images, videos, text, all that stuff adds up. So sustainable web design is about making that process as lightweight and efficient as possible.
So it's like choosing to drive an electric car instead of a gas guzzler,
Yeah, exactly.
but for your website.
Exactly.
I like it. Now, Technology Systems mentions that even just choosing the right hosting provider can make a big difference.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because data centers where websites are hosted use a ton of energy.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So now Technology Systems really emphasizes opting for a provider that uses renewable energy sources. Especially, you know, being in Australia where they're based, aligning your digital presence with those Aussie sustainability values.
So it's not just about what's on your website. It's literally where it lives in the online world.
Exactly,
Right.
where it's hosted.
Yeah. And I imagine that plays into this whole green hosting solutions thing, making sure your tech partner is on board with this.
Absolutely. And they're also really big on transparency. Like having a dedicated section on your website explaining the eco-friendly choices you've made.
Yeah, because how would anyone even know unless you tell them?
Exactly. It's like, you know, if you went to all the trouble of making your own organic soap, but then you just sold it in like a plain brown wrapper,
Right.
you gotta let people know about the good stuff.
Totally. Okay, so we're convinced green websites are a good thing.
Yeah.
But what are some practical things that our listeners can do to actually make their websites more sustainable?
Well, now Technology Systems has got some tips. One of the things they talk about is optimizing your images.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people don't think about that, but those high-res photos can really slow down a website.
Yeah, totally. I'm guilty of that.
Yeah.
I always think bigger is better when it comes to photos.
Yeah.
But I guess that's not always the case.
Yeah.
So what do? Just use these tiny little blurry photos.
Not exactly. It's about finding a good balance between quality and file size. Now, Technology Systems recommends experimenting with different image formats. Like there's one called WebP. Apparently, it can give you the same visual quality as a JPEG, but with a much smaller file size.
WebP. Okay, I'm writing that down. It's like choosing lightweight luggage when you travel.
Yeah.
Same amount of stuff, less bulk to lug around.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. So what other clever swaps can we make?
Well, remember how we were talking about scripts earlier?
Yeah.
Clunky code can really eat up energy, too.
Yeah.
Now, Technology Systems talks about keeping your website's clean and efficient. Like, think about it like this. If you could tell a story in a really long, rambling way or a short and snappy way, you'd get the same message across, but one takes way less effort.
If we get to the point.
Right, so it's the same idea with code.
Okay, so we've tackled images, we've cleaned up our code. What else can we do to make our websites more eco-friendly? Didn't they mention something called a CDN?
Yes, CDNs, or content delivery networks, they're a game changer for website speed and efficiency. Imagine you have a shop, right? And you sell a really popular product. Instead of having everyone in the entire country travel to your one shop, wouldn't it be easier if you had multiple shops that were closer to where people live?
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So it's the same concept with CDNs. They're like mini versions of your website that are stored in different locations all over the world.
So when someone visits my site, they're automatically connected to the server that's closest to them.
Exactly. Which means faster loading times, smoother user experience.
And a smaller environmental footprint.
Okay.
So it's a win-win-win.
Exactly.
I like it. Okay, so are we ready to get into some actionable steps?
Let's do it.
Give me the tools. Give me the resources.
Well, a great place to start is with a website audit. Now, Technology Systems recommends using a tool called Google PageSpeed Insights. It's basically like a health check for your site. It shows you what's slowing it down and where you can improve.
It's like a digital decluttering session.
Exactly.
I'm already feeling lighter just thinking about it. Okay, what else do they recommend?
They're big fans of simplicity when it comes to design.
So ditching all the crazy animations and like flashy graphics.
Yes, not only does it look more elegant and modern, but it also means your website loads faster, uses less energy. They also point out that every plugin you add to your website, it's like adding another appliance to your house. It all contributes to your energy consumption.
So maybe it's time to say goodbye to that cat meme generator plugin I installed a while back.
Probably a good call. And here's where now Technology Systems takes a really cool approach. They actually encourage website owners to think about how they can encourage sustainable user actions directly on their sites.
Oh, I like that. So it's like taking that eco-consciousness beyond just the design itself and into how people are actually using and interacting with your content.
Yeah.
So what kind of actions are we talking about? Well, they did mention offering digital downloads instead of printing things,
Right.
which seems obvious now that we're talking about it.
Totally. It's a small change, but it could make a big difference. And speaking of impact, now Technology Systems is really focused on making a difference here in Australia.
Yeah, which makes sense since they're an Aussie company.
Yeah.
How does that kind of local focus play into their whole approach to sustainable web design?
They really want businesses to be thoughtful about where they host their website. Like they suggest looking for providers that use renewable energy, of course, but also ones that adhere to Australian standards and regulations.
Oh, so it's about supporting sustainable tech infrastructure here at home. I like that. It's like they're saying, let's green the internet starting right here in our own backyard.
Exactly. And I think that brings us to a really important takeaway from all of this. Now, Technology Systems has really shone a light on something that most of us probably don't think about: the carbon footprint of our websites.
It's true. I had no idea about any of this before we started this deep dive. But their message goes beyond just websites, right?
Absolutely. They leave us with this really interesting question. If we can make our websites more eco-friendly, what else can we do to lessen the impact of our digital lives in general? Think about it. All the emails we send, videos, we watch, files we keep in the cloud, it all adds up.
It does. It's like you've opened up this whole other world of sustainable possibilities. It's not just about having a green website. It's about changing how we use technology in general.
Yeah. Being more mindful, I think, is the key.
So it's not about giving up all the things we love about being online. It's just about thinking about our choices and trying to make ones that match our values.
Right. Now, Technology Systems has given us a lot to think about today, but the most important thing is that we can all be a part of creating a greener internet.
I love that. So to all our listeners who are ready to make their online presence a little more eco-friendly, go check out. Now, Technology Systems blog post, we'll put the link in the show notes, and you'll find all the info you need to get started with sustainable web design.
And remember, even the smallest steps we take can make a difference.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, thanks for joining us for another deep dive into the world of all things digital. We'll catch you in the next episode.